I turned a milestone age and I said, hey, it's time to get back on. Even though, living in New York, people say you're crazy for riding a scooter in New York, but it's been good so far. My name is Stacy Kovacs and I ride a Vespa Sprint 150cc. It is beautiful blue, royal blue color. I've been riding since I was about 18. My first scooter was a Honda Sprint 50cc's. I took that off to college. I took it in the van with my parents up to Michigan State University and I had it there. Sadly, it was stolen in my sophomore year. And then after that, the next scooter I had was a Yamaha Zuma, about 8 years later, and that was stolen. And so now I finally went and got a Vespa, and I keep it nice and safe. So for a living, I am a physician assistant. I work in a major New York City hospital in a procedural department called interventional radiology. And I ride the Vespa to and from work. It's a great commuter vehicle because the parking is pretty easy. So my number one tip for anyone thinking about getting a bike or a scooter, motorcycle, is you got to watch out for the other drivers. Safety first. Always, make sure your bike's functioning right. Make sure that you're not intoxicated. So I currently live in Queens. I live in Astoria, the border of Astoria and Long Island City. I just moved here a few months ago. I love it very much. So I chose the Vespa because I've always wanted a Vespa since I was a kid. Me and my brother had a thing with Vespas and European cars. So I finally I turned a milestone age and I said, hey, it's time to get back on. Even though, living in New York, people say you're crazy for riding a scooter in New York, but it's been good so far. No accidents or major issues. So I have a hobby. It's my hobby project. It's called Fogo Azul NYC. It's an all-women Brazilian samba drum line. I do it for fun. It's about 2 years old now. I was under a different name prior to its current name of a different incarnation, but we rebranded a few years ago. Currently we have about 85 active women members who are in this group. We play a lot of events around the city, from parties to fundraisers, galas, parades, festivals, anything you could think of having a drumline at. We are currently growing. It's open to all women, no matter any skill level, prior drumming experience, musical experience. It's a great community. It gives women a community in the city to not only meet other women, but to do really fun events and also, to sort of bond and create lasting friendships. Our age range is about 17 to our oldest is 80. That's my hobby project, and it's a full-time job outside of my other job. Some of the fun things I find riding the scooter in New York is that it gives you a sense of freedom that you don't have in a car. I also ride a bicycle. It's similar, but with the scooter, you go a lot faster and you can just feel the engine, and it's just a freedom that I really can't explain unless you ride. And I've ridden motorcycles before, and I just like the scooters better. I'm not sure why. Everyone asks me why not get a motorcycle. I like scooters. I'm a scooter person. Some of the cool things I notice about riding also in the city is that if you pull up at a red light, say next to a motorcyclist or another scooter driver, there's that head nod you give, and then people just are more polite to each other in terms of that riding community. You pull up to a place where there's a bunch of scooters or motorcycles parked, and you park in there, and people just give way to you if they're coming to get theirs to leave or something. It's just a polite, everyone says hi to each other. It's not really anything competitive that I can tell. And it's a good camaraderie, and there's, scooter clubs and riding clubs that I haven't been involved in, but I'm going to look into doing that, and that should be a lot of fun. So I chose Vespa because it's a well-known brand name. It's classic. The shape of it, the scooter community knows a Vespa. Everyone knows a Vespa. I've had Hondas, I've had Yamahas, and it's kind of the cream of the crop in terms of scooters. I chose a 150cc because it's not too big and it's not too small, and it can go on the highways and it can go on the regular roads as well. My favorite place to ride, ironically, is Queens Boulevard. Queens Boulevard is, the history of it is that it was the boulevard that led out to the suburbs. That's why it was built, and it's pretty wide. There's a lot of traffic lights. The traffic is pretty good because the road is divided in and of itself, so there's not much turning or anything. So if you hit all those green lights timed, you can just cruise down Queens Boulevard at like 25 miles an hour and just get from the Queensboro Bridge to like Forest Hills in like 15 minutes. It's awesome. So that's my favorite place to ride. My other favorite place to ride is over any of the bridges in the city. The Queensboro Bridge, Brooklyn Bridge, and Manhattan Bridge. Those are awesome to ride over. Just the views, and when it's beautiful outside, it just makes living and riding a scooter in New York City really cool.